Section 6, Video 4. In this video, we will review fault tolerance concept as well as more details around high availability. Fault tolerance provides continuous availability as opposed to high availability of vSphere HA. With fault tolerance, there is no loss of data, transactions, or connections. Fault tolerance monitors primary and secondary VMs using a high-speed private network. Uses VMware vLockstep technology to ensure primary and secondary are in sync. The primary VM captures all inputs and events and replays them on the secondary VM. This allows both VMs to be in sync, and in the event of a failure, the secondary VM can pick up from where the VM lost connection and continue from there. This results in a no loss instantaneous failover. The high level of continuity and added protection determines when to deploy fault tolerance. Applications that need to be available at all times. Custom applications that have no other way of doing clustering. Or cases where high availability might be provided through custom solutions which are too complicated to configure and maintain. In terms of high availability, which we looked at in the previous video, there are a number of failure types that need to be identified and then to respond accordingly. The master host is responsible for correctly detecting the failure of slave hosts. Three types of host failures are possible. A host stops functioning, that is fails. Host becomes network isolated. Or a host loses network connectivity with the master host. In all of these three cases, the master host must make the correct determination. If a master host is unable to communicate directly with the agent, the slave host does not respond to pings, and the agent is not issuing heartbeats, it's considered to have failed. The master host will then review the list of VMs running on that host and restart them on the other host in the cluster. Network isolation occurs when a host is still running but can no longer see traffic on the management network. The host itself will attempt to ping the cluster isolation address. If that also fails, the host itself declares to be isolated. Then it's the master host to determine to leave the VMs running or migrate them to other hosts. When a management network failure occurs for HA cluster, which is called a network partition, a subset of the cluster host may not be able to communicate over the management network with the other hosts. In a network partition, multiple network partitions can occur, and this has to be resolved at a network level. Network partition versus isolated. Two different states. When we encounter a network isolation, we don't receive heartbeats from the master. There's no election traffic and cannot ping isolation address. This is when a host will declare itself to be isolated. In the case of a partitioning, the slave is not receiving heartbeats from the master. However, it's receiving election traffic, and at some point a new master will have to be elected and the state reported to vCenter. VMware Data Protection is a robust, simple to deploy, disk-based backup and recovery solution, fully integrated with vCenter, enabling centralized and efficient management of backup jobs. VMware Web Client interface is used to select, schedule, configure, and manage backups. And during a backup, VDP creates a snapshot of the virtual machine. Some of the other advantages of VDP include fast and efficient data protection, data space reduction using deduplication across all backups, easy backups without the need for third-party agents in each virtual machine, simplified recovery of Windows and Linux files, an ability to restore virtual machines even when the virtual center is unavailable, and uses replication to avoid data loss. If the source VDP appliance fails, copies are available on a destination target. To summarize, we reviewed fault tolerance, looked at host failure types and recovery for HA, and VMware data protection. This concludes section 6. Thank you for watching.